Hi everyone, welcome to Bio 10, Intro to Biology. I'm Jess McLaughlin and I'm going to be your instructor this semester. I'm really excited to welcome you to this course and as we explore the world of biology together. For a bit of housekeeping, you can call me Jess or Dr. McLaughlin if that's not comfortable for you, and I use they, them pronouns. In general, you can reach me through the Canvas portal, the Canvas messaging portal, or through my email address that is listed on the syllabus. Overall, the purpose of this video, which should be the first one you're watching for this course, is to give you a breakdown of what our objectives are going to be for this semester, the structure of the course, and some overall course policies. All of this information can be found on the syllabus as well. So, let's get started. Why are we in this course? We all have a variety of reasons for actually being enrolled, but in general, we're all here because for some reason we need to learn about biology. What exactly is biology? Well, in brief, it's the study of living things. We'll get more into the history of this in the second video, the other one you will be watching for this week. How we're actually going to be structuring and evaluating this is going to be determined by some specific learning outcomes, very particular topics and ideas that we want you to have mastered by the end of this semester. But more broadly, and possibly more importantly, is what we hope that this course will bring you in terms of understanding how to look at the world through a more scientific lens, what exactly that means, and how to go about asking questions and testing them in a scientific manner. We're also going to be looking at the connections between biology and the world around us, from the very practical things like applications like medicine and dealing with environmental issues such as pollution, to more abstract ideas such as how our ideas of biology throughout history have interplayed with some of the good and bad parts of society. This course is all online and generally asynchronous. This means that all course materials are going to be delivered online. There is no in-person component of this. And although if you would like to form study groups or such that do meet in person, that is, of course, highly encouraged. It's asynchronous in that you can watch these videos and complete these assignments basically any time within each week of material. You can watch them at first thing on Monday morning. You can watch them Friday afternoon, although I do not encourage that because you do have things to do. For each week is a discrete unit, and you will see these on the Canvas page. On the home page, you'll see modules for each week. And each week, the module for that week will be at the top of the page, with previous weeks pushed down to the bottom so that they're there for reference, but they're not the first thing you're going to see when you log on. In general, all the assignments for each week are going to be due on Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I've had some people ask before why I do it at 5 p.m. In general, there are often times where assignment links don't work, or something goes wrong with Canvas, or you have last minute questions, and I am not available Friday evening. And so this is, while it seems like, well, why can't you give us until midnight? There's actually a very practical reason. I can't help you after about 5 p.m. on Fridays. And I want to be sure that there's no problem with you getting assignments completed. So this is so that I am available until right when the assignments are due. So that's the general course material. But what's that actually look like in terms of what we're going to be covering? We're going to be generally divided into 3 units, and these are basically organized by the themes of the materials we're going to be talking about. The first unit, which will be running through the end of September, is the stuff of life. This is going over the chemical and molecular building blocks of life, the processes that drive, that actually allow us to breathe and live and do stuff. The next unit, which will be basically all of October, is reading life's code. This is where we get into things like DNA and understanding what it is, how it works, how we get information from that to actually drive the processes of life, and then how that changes over time with heredity and evolution. And then finally, our last unit is life all around us. This is where we look at the diversity of life and go over things like ecosystems and environmental impacts and more. While we will be exploring some of these themes throughout the semester, it's also where we're going to specifically have a unit on the intersections of biology and society. So within each of these units, the subjects are broken up by week, with each week having some very specific components. First of all, I would encourage you to start with the videos. They are me talking. I will try to make them more interesting than just that, though, I promise. And there will be anywhere between 1 and 4 of these. If there's the more there are, the shorter they will be. I will try to keep them into smaller portions that are a little bit more manageable. All of these videos will be numbered on the Canvas page in the order in which I suggest you watch them. For instance, this will be video 1 for week 1. All of these will be closed captioned, as you can see below. And I will make sure that transcripts are posted along with each video. This is to make sure that in case anybody has any sort of hearing impairment or has any issues with otherwise that might prevent you from accessing this material, that it is as accessible as possible to everybody. If you're still having trouble following the videos or otherwise using this material, please let me know and I will work with you to make sure that there is a way that this is accessible to you. The next component is our readings. In general, these are going to be in our textbook, the OpenStax Concepts of Biology textbook, which is linked on the course page. Additionally, I will be giving other readings for each week that are generally more geared towards, a broader popular audience. Things like interesting blog posts or articles in magazines such as Scientific American. These are related to the topics, but in general, we'll zoom in on maybe one interesting portion of it. These videos and readings will then be covered in the study guides. Now, this is the first of the graded assignments you will do each week. These aren't worth a ton of points. They're 3 points each. But then they're not going to be graded for whether or not you're right on things. These are going to be graded on whether you completed them. It's for you to check how you're understanding the material and making sure that you stay on top of actually completing it. Now, those are mainly going to be graded on whether you do them or not. The other types of assignments are going to be graded on the content. And the two ones of these that you'll be doing weekly are discussions and investigations. So a lot of times how we as scientists explore topics and try to understand and grapple with these ideas is by talking with other people. And this can be kind of hard on an online class because we are not all in a classroom together. So to make sure that we are practicing this skill, and we'll also maybe grappling with some of the more complicated topics, each week there will be a discussion board posted on Canvas. And the guidelines will be given for each of these, but in general, you need to post at least twice onto the discussion for that topic. At least one of those needs to be in response to another student. They need to be fairly lengthy. You can't just say, yeah, no, that sounds great. They need to be about a paragraph or its spoken equivalent. And it should be relevant to what's actually being talked about. So you can't, if you have something on a similar topic that is related, that's okay, but you can't go off completely in a different direction that's not relevant to the actual topic of the discussion. These can be submitted both as a written paragraph or as a spoken recording. Either way is fine. And I encourage you to do whichever feels more comfortable to you. The discussions are a group effort. Some of these are going to be more like debates where we're talking about topics where there might be multiple viewpoints. Others are more of, let's work together to talk through an idea. But the investigations are more independent work. These are going to be variable in what they actually look like. Sometimes they will be, hey, here's a set of questions to think about and answer these specific points related to each of them. Sometimes it's going to be a bit more active, like go out and look around and in an ecosystem and write down what you see. The point of these is to be fun, so I'm hoping they're fun, and they are going to be pretty different from week to week. Now, for these, the expectation is that everybody is going to turn in their own original work. You can form study groups, you can talk with each other about ideas, but ultimately, at the end of the day, when you turn in your investigations, they need to be independent and done by you, not copying each other. We'll go over more of this when we talk about course policies, about academic honesty. Finally, each week we're going to then have a final bit of reading. This will be covered there will be a question about this in the study guide. But while this might be a non-majors course, I do want to highlight the vast range of what being a scientist, what being a biologist looks like. So each week, I've contacted a different scientist who studies something in the air relevant to what we're working on that week, and given them a set of questions about what they do, how their path through science, what their path through science has looked like, that sort of thing. And hopefully you will find these really engaging and interesting. I'm really excited about a lot of the folks that I've got lined up for this, and hopefully it'll give you a bit of a better idea of just how wide the range of people who do biology and the sort of questions that we tackle as biologists actually looks like. So, finally, the last bit of assignments. Instead of having traditional exams, which frankly I didn't like as a student, you probably don't like, and I certainly don't think there's often a lot of discussion about how well they actually evaluate your knowledge. And again, frankly, they're kind of boring sometimes. So instead of traditional exams, what we'll be having are unit capstones. And these are projects where I will have a whole video that talks through the requirements for these when we get to this point. But basically, at the last week of every unit, with the exception of our third unit, which this will be in place of our final exam, you have to turn in some sort of project that reflects on the material and the themes of that unit, either one very specific subsection of it, or maybe something that related to the broader themes overall that you saw. And this can take a lot of different forms. This could be, if you really want, a in-depth research paper about a very specific topic. It could be something more creative, though. You could write a piece of short fiction. You could do some sort of art project. You could even do something that's not necessarily related to academic work, but instead do something that's more service oriented. For instance, if you wanted to, you could organize a trash cleanup of a natural area for, when we do our unit on the environment and ecosystems. It's wide open. The one big requirement I have is that you do need to clear whatever this project is with me first about midway through the unit by coming to my office hours. And we'll talk about office hours here in just a moment. So, my goal overall for all these assignments is that they should be interesting and fun and be a bit more engaging than just reading the textbook and answering some multiple choice questions. If at any point you find that an assignment is difficult for you to complete, either because you don't understand it or perhaps you're having issues accessing the materials or whatever, please let me know immediately. And again, I will work with you to find an alternate way for you to complete the assignment. Now that we've talked over the overall outline and the structure and assignments of this course, we need to talk a bit about the course policies. First of all, for you to be able to learn, you need to be in an environment that is conducive to learning. This means that everybody can enjoy a supportive, respectful learning environment. Even in an online asynchronous course, we do share a learning environment in terms of discussion modules, virtual office hours, interacting over messaging or forming study groups. And so even when we're not seeing each other face to face, maintaining this respectful environment where everybody feels that they are not being treated unfairly because of their identities or their experiences is a really key part of building the sort of space where we can actually learn. This is a responsibility not just for me as the instructor building and moderating these spaces, but one that is all of our responsibilities. I ask that you engage with each other in good faith and be respectful and mindful of everybody's different identities and experiences. And if you engage in any form of discriminatory or abusive behavior, I will have to ask you to leave the class, whether it's whatever space we are currently in, such as a Zoom meeting or whatever. And if you continue to persist in the behavior, it will have to be referred to disciplinary action. In terms of what that looks like, I will not tolerate racism, discrimination or hurt or hateful comments about people's ethnicity, religion, immigration status, their gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, health status, their body size, any of these things. Again, I take these things very seriously. And if another student has said something and it's in a course context that I am not directly involved in, such as if you're studying outside of this or forming independent study groups or something, please let me know and we will work together to address this. We can't do our best at learning if we feel unsafe in the spaces that we are doing that learning in. So this is a core responsibility for everybody and one that I take very seriously. This also then feeds into general digital etiquette. We are going to be using message board function on Canvas as well as other forms of digital communication, and it's really easy online, more so than in person in a lot of cases, to not be our best selves, shall we put it. So it's all right to disagree. We're going to be talking about topics where there are multiple viewpoints to look at. What has to be done is what's important is that it's done in a respectful manner, and that we are staying on topic, and not, and that we are trying to remain in a professional and learning-centered way of doing things. So, again, if this is something that you have concerns about in regards to another student's behavior or with me, please let me know and we'll work to make that better. Because, again, especially in an online course, if you don't feel safe engaging in the course spaces, that's a major problem. In terms of accessibility, I am trying to build this course as so that anybody can participate in it, regardless of disability, location, income, resources, other time commitments in terms of caretaking or employment. And so this is something that I'm working very hard to incorporate in the course so that everybody can benefit from it without having to jump through any hoops of, asking for disability accommodations. That said, if you need specific accommodations, let me know immediately. If you have a documented disability, there is, of course, the disability support program. But I want to make sure that, because just having access to a documented disability can be in and of itself a difficult process, that you don't need that to ask for accommodations. And you may not need accommodations based on disability, but on other factors as well. So if any of these things are a concern, please let me know, and I will work with you to help you access the resources you need and to redesign certain aspects of the course if they are proving difficult for you to do. And there are multiple programs through Mission College that are specifically designed to support you as a person. You can't be a student if you're not supported as a person. And so this is something that I also, again, take seriously, and there are resources on campus to help with this that I am more than willing to help you connect with if you need assistance in that. There's a student health center, student counseling, all of which the links are given in the syllabus. And there is assistance with if you are insecure in terms of housing or food. And again, if you need any help accessing these, please let me know, and I will do my best to help connect you with these resources, because it's tough out there, and it's not fair of me as an instructor to ask you to put all of your effort and thought into this class if you're worried about where you're going to sleep tonight. So, gotta take care of yourself, and I'm here to help you do that. So, office hours. I have office hours set aside every week, and currently the plan is for these to be on Wednesdays from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time on Zoom, and the link will be on the course Canvas page. If these don't work for you, please let me know. My schedule is very flexible, and so if you need a different time to meet one-on-one, perfectly fine. If I hear from a lot of people that these hours don't work, I will work with the class as a whole to try to identify times that work better. So now for probably everybody's least favorite part. we need to talk about academic dishonesty. So, I am here to help you learn. And part of that means that I'm putting in good faith effort to help you do that. You need to make a good faith effort to try to participate in this course. And cheating and other forms of academic dishonesty prevent you from achieving these goals and will ultimately hurt you down the road. What cheating looks like is something that is, of course, rapidly changing. All of our assignments are going to be open resource, so you can use the textbook, you can look things up on the internet, you can look things up in other textbooks or something. We're going to talk about the importance of citing these resources, but one of the important skills of being a scientist is even when you don't necessarily know everything, you know where to find out. And so that's part of why I don't do a lot of closed book assignments. But cheating still exists even in that format in terms of working together and copying each other's work on assignments that are explicitly supposed to be individual. It includes AI-assisted technologies such as ChatGPT, or for when you're asked to, you might have an assignment where you're asked to draw a diagram or something, or for unit capstones where you're doing stuff that's creative, using AI-generated imagery is not allowed. And very specifically, plagiarism. This is the subsection to cheating where you are submitting words or work copied from other people and presenting it as your own. And while in general, a lot of cases that get flagged as plagiarism are simply not citing a source properly when you intend to do so, we'll work on that, and that is something that we will identify and work on throughout this semester. Doing so purposefully is really works counter to your own learning outcomes and process, and will be flagged. There is a Principles of Academic Honesty document linked on the syllabus that please review. And in general, the responses for cheating and plagiarism that are put in place by the college are very strict. And so my goal as an instructor is that we never get to the point where those have to be put in place. In general, they are not tolerated on any assignment. All parties involved will be penalized because it's very hard to figure out who copied from who. And you will, if you are found to be cheating, you will receive an F or a 0 on whatever that assignment is, and you can end up getting referred to disciplinary action. Now, these are all not great. And in my experience, generally when people are at the point where they're thinking, you know what, I really just want to take an easier way out on this, it's usually being driven by other things. Being at a point where you're overwhelmed or desperate or feel like you can't complete things or all of that. And so my main request of you is that if you find yourself at that point where you're thinking, you know what, maybe I should just get a essay off of ChatGPT or whatever, which, by the way, they're not very good essays, so that's not going to work for you anyways. Instead of doing that, reach out to me. I am very lenient with things like extending the deadlines on things and helping work with you to make sure that you can complete things. Stuff happens. I know that a lot of you you're taking a lot of other classes, you might be working, you might have caretaking duties, you have other things in your life going on that can make it hard to get everything done. And so if you find yourself in that position where you are overwhelmed, please reach out to me and I will work with you to find alternate ways to help you complete the assignments, and whether that's deadline extensions or some other form of accommodations. Again, I'm here to support you, and I'm willing to work with you to make it so that you can participate in this course fully. So, last little bits of things. Obviously, as this is a virtual class, we don't really have an attendance policy per se. I will check in on you if a week goes by and I don't hear from you. In general, like I said, there's a deadline every week for all of your assignments for that week to be turned in, and if you need more time to work on something, please just let me know. I am very lenient on giving out extensions and things like that, so the main thing I ask is that you let me know ahead of time so I know to expect it. And finally, because it's something that everybody always asks, yes, there are extra credit opportunities. These are usually in the form of some little extra thing tacked onto an investigation, a way to extend it or put in a little bit more effort and time on it. And there is a maximum of 30 total points of course credit, which works out to around 3.5% of your total grade. This doesn't sound like much, but this is enough that if you have, say, a B minus, get raised up to a B, or A minus to an A, or a B plus to an A minus. So I will flag these as they become available, and the total number of opportunities for this will amount to more than 30 points. So I'm sorry, even if you do every bit of extra credit opportunity that's there, you're still going to max out at 30, but not everybody can do all of the different extra credit opportunities that come up, so I want to make sure that everybody can hit that max if they want to. So again, welcome to class. I'm really excited to have you be working with you this semester and to get to know all of you. As always, please, if you have any questions on anything we've covered in this, go ahead and message me on Canvas or shoot me an email. And let's get learning.